What's going on, everybody? It's ShamefulPenguin here, back with another video, and this time we're bringing even more 318 build guides to you guys for the league start of Sentinel League. Now, all these builds, as I've said before, are really good at league start. There's one noticeably in this group that's really bad at bossing, and if you're interested in bossing, you're going to ignore it. The rest of them are really exceptional at bossing and clearing maps, so all of these builds are going to be usable. Links in the description down below, and if you're interested in any of them, let me know in the comments. The first build we're getting into today is the Lightning Strike build. Now, there's controversy if you should be using Raider or Champion or Berserker, so I'm just going to link two guides down below. So there's the Kobe Buck Mamba is a really big fan of the Berserker. Isoro and Crouching Tuna are fans of the Raider, so I'm going to leave those links down below. I personally like the Raider, but as a league start, this isn't like the best get off the ground league start choice, but as you start putting currency into this build, it starts scaling very, very well. This is one of the best scaling builds in the game. If you have a lot of currency, so if you want to roll a second build, this is probably one of your prime choices. But it does work as a league start, and then you can just build into it as you go on. There's a lot of endgame guides for this to build into, but most notably the Lightning Strike, you just slam it down, it makes projectiles fork out. They do get stuck on pebbles. If you ever played Lightning Strike, you know what I mean, and if you don't, the projectiles that get forked out from the Lightning Strike get caught on a lot of little things on the ground, so you're not maximizing damage on a lot of the environment setting, I guess you could say. But overall, Lightning Strike, one of the best skills in the game, especially using the Vol Lightning Strike. Vol Lightning Strike is one of the best Vol skills in the game, so your single target damage gets blown through the roof, hard carried through the Vol skill through most of the game. The second build showed today is a little niche build. It's the Fire Trap Saboteur. It was one I was actually looking into playing this league before I decided on one of my other builds. And Fire Trap Saboteur is actually a very solid build. It is normally outclassed by Seismic Trap, and I would say it still is outclassed by Seismic Trap in the single target endgame bosses department for early budget. But Fire Trap really scales very well, and it can carry you through pretty much all the same content, just not as easily. But the thing about playing a Fire Trap instead, it allows you to do like full deli clears and deli mirror farm and clear expeditions very, very well. And since it's scaling the damage over time, you're not really mitigated by the mods on expedition, so it's a really good expedition farmer. There's a lot of good things going for this build, and if you're into traps and you're not feeling like playing Seismic Trap, Fire Trap is probably your next best choice as a trapper. This build of Fire Trap is pretty much like a one button build where you just drop traps. If you're fighting boss, you have to curse him and stuff, but overall it's a one button build, which is what a lot of people are looking for in their builds. So overall, this build is really easy to play, new player friendly, and very fun. The third build we're going to be talking about is the Creeping Frost Inquisitor. Inquisitor is a really strong archetype that a lot of people are playing thanks to its huge defenses and good damage scaling. But Creeping Frost is very interesting. Jungron really showcase how it could do a lot of damage on really minimal gear. Creeping Frost is normally a skill that's used on the DoT Occultist, which spoilers, we're going to be talking about later, but we're not scaling the cold damage over time on the Inquisitor. We're scaling the hit portion, and the hit portion of Creeping Frost does a lot of damage, and it's one of the few skills in the game that's still shotgun. So Creeping Frost is utilized because of its shotgunning mechanic, just adding projectiles. You could actually utilize just one pierce, and you get that pierce damage plus the on hit from the ground, so you're like double damage, plus you have like shotgun with GMP, and you're hitting all those projectiles. You can do some pretty insane damage if you set the boss up optimally. And in general, the look at the build is like really good. If you're not upkeeping that 100% of the time, it's still really good damage due to the shotgunning just being there from scaling any part of AoE. and it's really good at bossing on a low budget. This might be a bossing contender if enough people play it, and it's really good on a low budget, really strong, and I highly recommend it to anyone looking to kill the bosses early on in the league. The fourth build we're going to be showcasing today is the Cold DoT Occultist, and this archetype is very popular in the past. I've played this multiple leagues, and it's still going strong, utilizing Wintertide Brand and Vortex as your damaging skills. You have Vortex on a 4-link in this build, proccing extra damage and Bone Chill, and Wintertide Brand as your main damaging component. And then since you're a cultist, you can get extra curses on the enemy to just scale your damage even better. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of fun things to do with this build. It's a really fun playstyle because you kind of just walk around, drop your Vortex, and just kill all enemies just walking by them, straight through them. It's really great, really fun playstyle. Really brain dead, so it's really easy to farm to high levels. So if you're interested in getting a character to high levels without trying too hard, this is one of the builds to do that. It can also do bosses. It's not the best bosser, but it definitely can do the endgame bosses with enough investment. And overall, this is just a really fun and smooth playstyle. If you're looking for that, this is the build for you. And lastly, we got a really fast clearing build known as Corrupting Fever. You either go Kinetic Blast or Tornado Shot with this build. High end, you go Tornado Shot, but there are a group of people who prefer Kinetic Blast even at high end. But you're going Kinetic Blast and even some Spell Slinger shenanigans just to do your extra damage with Corrupting Fever. The way Corrupting Fever works is that you toggle it on. If you ever use Blood Rage, it's kind of like Blood Rage, where if you toggle it on and it stays on you, degens you for a certain amount of time, but gives you a buff of something. Corrupting Fever makes it so you deal damage over time to enemies, and it's separate from your bleed damage. And so we're just scaling the Corrupted Fever damage, and then you can go on your Kinetic Blast or Tornado Shot and just scale projectile speed, GMP. All of that won't hurt your damage anymore. You're purely scaling the damage from the Corrupting Fever gem, which is just a degen on you that gives you a buff. So really fun playstyle. You can see through the clip below that it's the fastest clear in the game on a early budget by far, and it gets even faster with more investments. Even Tornado Shot, once you have some investment with Tornado Shot, it is the fastest clearing skill in the game on a low mid budget. Even high budget, I would argue that's still faster than other builds. But there are some major downsides with this build where you might not even be able to kill some endgame bosses. You might have to purchase carries, especially if you go like Tornado Shot or whatever. When you stay the Kinetic Blast and Spell Slinger, you do have that extra single target damage, but when you're playing, you will need some help on bosses for sure on this build. So if you're looking for just a pure map farmer, just to giga juice some currency out in the early league and then maybe roll or just purchase boss carries, this is going to be the best build for that, for early league mapping. And those are the 5 builds that I'm recommending to you guys for 3.18. Now there's 2 other videos that go along with this video. These are less meta, kind of less meta. Each video has 5 builds, so 15 builds total that I recommended. So go through and watch those other videos if you didn't find one you like. But if you did find one you like in this video, make sure you leave a comment down below. I'm interested in what you guys are playing. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a great league start. And I hope to see you guys on the next video. Later.